All right, so in this video, I want to talk about how to start a consulting business with no experience. By no experience, I mean no consulting experience, but certainly you have professional experiences that can be leveraged as a consultant. But you've not worked as a consultant, you've worked maybe in corporate or in a family business or whatever the case is. Maybe you've been an entrepreneur, run your own business, and now you've divested yourself of that business and you want to consult with others who are in the same industry. For example, say you ran a restaurant for a number of years, and now you no longer want to run a restaurant, but you want to help other restaurateurs. But you have no experience, or you've been a farmer. A few days ago, I got a call from a one of my clients who is a farmer actually, and he's been in the agriculture business for over 15 years, and he had gotten called by an organization to provide some consulting in helping them plan an agricultural program, and he didn't know where to begin. So if you find yourself in that place where you don't have consulting experience but you're ready to start your consulting business, how do you do it? That's what we're going to talk about in this video. So the first thing you want to consider is your unique value proposition. Why should people hire you? Why should your clients hire you? What difference do you bring? What makes you different? All right. So this is where you want to leverage your past experiences, your transferable skills. You want to be able to identify gaps in the market that you're looking to serve. So if you're in the marine sector, for example, and you've worked for a marine company or a maritime company and you now want to provide some consulting, what were the gaps you saw in the space when you worked inside? Or maybe you worked in public sector and now you want to provide some development or public sector consulting. What were the gaps that you saw, and which of those gaps are you positioning yourself to be an expert at closing? Which of those pain points, those problems, are you positioning yourself as an expert in solving? Okay. You want to be clear as to who you're trying to serve. You cannot be everything to everybody. So, who do you want to serve? Who are you looking to serve? Are you looking to be a consultant to companies in the oil and gas sector, or maybe you're a financial consultant across, but even in finance, you specialize in financial modeling, for example. So be clear as to what exactly you bring to the table and who you want to serve in that regard. It's very important. And then finally, you need to also be clear. So, who do you need to network with? You're just starting out, you have no experience, you have no clients. Who do you need to network with? Who trusts you already? Who can you call on and say, hey, I've launched my business, and I need some referrals. So let me help you do this, and I'm going to give you a good rate or something of the sort. And we can talk about the strategies as far as learning your first five clients. We can talk about that later. But at this point, it's all about defining clearly what your unique value proposition is. So once that is done, the next step you want to get to is building a solid foundation. And I cannot emphasize this enough. You need to build a very solid foundation around which your business is going to grow. All right. So you cannot escape those essential elements. For example, you need to be clear as to what the goals are that you have for this business. When I first started, my goal was simple. I wanted personal freedom. Personal freedom is high on my list of values, and that was what I wanted. Even more than extra. I wanted good money. I wanted to get paid, but as far as income and freedom, I took freedom over the money. So far as I was doing okay, that I was cool. I needed my personal freedom. And I set my goals based on that. All right. You want to model your business in a way that suits you. You want to tailor, I see a lot of people make mistakes when they start consulting business. They go and they develop a detailed business plan that's probably going to sit on a shelf somewhere. Um, Up for the last 15 years, my business plan has been enough to fit on a sheet of paper. All right, because it's not complicated. These are the people that I serve. This is what I do for them. This is the results I help them get. And this is how we do it. This is how much they pay me. This is how much time it takes to get the results. All right. One page business plan. Suit your business model to yourself. And that brings the question, do you really know yourself? Who are you? All right. We'll talk about that in a separate conversation. But that is key as far as structuring your business in a way that is aligned with who you are. All right, and then obviously you want to, in as much as you're working solo, it's still important to have a business registered as a sole proprietorship, because there's some clients who will not pay individuals; they will pay a company, and if that's the case, you don't want to be caught with your pants down. So once you've got those basics covered, the next thing to attack or to deal with is establishing credibility. And this all can happen together from day one. All right. So I'm not suggesting that you do this in a chronological order, one after the other. No. All right. But establishing credibility and trust has to come from day one, where you want to, for example, developing your online presence, let people know who you are, your LinkedIn profile optimized to align with the services that you now want to offer. Um, Creating content to showcase your expertise. So one of the first things that I did when I launched out initially was to publish a book, and this is something that I encourage everybody starting. When you first start out, nobody knows you. All right, and when we talk about getting your first clients, I'll go deep into that authority strategy. But basically, you publish a book based on your expertise. In that book, you want to discuss the pains that your potential clients have, and what the solutions are that you offer, and how they can solve those problems for themselves. Trust me, they're not going to try to do it themselves. But once they know that you know what you're talking, then they come to you. All right. So if you have no experience, even if you have got experience and you've not published a book to demonstrate that experience, you want to do that. And even in 2025, a hard book is still valuable. And especially now, I'm thinking, there's no scientific evidence, but I'm beginning to think that with the proliferation of ebooks and with AI making it so easy for anybody to write an ebook, a well thought out softback or hardback but physical book is going to be more valuable as the years proceed. So think about that, and when you're thinking about writing a book to showcase your expertise, let it be one that you think through very clearly. Um, in my private consulting group, I share a complete framework for an authority book that you can write that will be respected and people will clearly know that you know what you are talking about. All right. So by this time, as you're doing all of this, you want to make sure that you offer, you get some referrals, or you get some feedback going as quickly as possible. So that is also part of how you establish credibility. You want to make sure that the advice you put out there as you're generating content, for example, it's actually helping people, and somebody's going to reach out to you quickly and say, hey, I need help. Offer them that help for a reasonable price, and let them give you a good referral or a testimonial. That will also be valuable. Okay, that is at the point now that you are ready to acquire customer. When you've done all of this, when you've done the basics and you've put out some content and you've got some testimonials now. So maybe all of this can happen in the first 30 days. If you're really committed to this, all of this can happen in the first 30 days. And we teach you exactly how to do that in our private group. But basically, you want to make sure that by the end of the first 30 days, you have some testimonials, you've put out your book, and that can be done easily. You will still leverage AI, but in a way that doesn't say that you wrote a book with AI, but actually it brings out your experiences and your knowledge and your expertise will be clearly demonstrated in that. So when that is done, then you move to getting your first client. So you already know by now who your ideal client is. You know, you've developed a psychographical profile of them. So it's not just who they are, their age, and where they live, or what kind of car they drive. But beyond that, what what do they think? What scares them? What excites them? What ambitions do they have? These are questions that you want to be able to ask or answer for your ideal client, because when you have that kind of information, you use that in all of your marketing, you use that in your trainings, you use that in your webinars. All of these things help you to target your audience properly. All right. So when that is done, you want to get to reaching out to these potential clients. And there are different ways you can do that. So one is you have the book. You can make the book available for free, and prospects only pay shipping and handling, and we can talk about that. It's called a self-actualizing offer. Okay, that's one way to do that. So you basically allow the customers to pay the cost of producing a book plus the shipping, and you tag all into shipping and handling, and you're not making a profit on the book, but it's used to showcase your expertise. That's one way. You could still offer that same book as an ebook that customers instantly download. Okay, you could offer, depending on where you are, you could run a workshop that talks about the the solution that you bring to the marketplace, and that workshop can help people see your value. That's how I began, back in 2010. So that's what, 15 years ago. Yes, we're in 2025. I almost said 25 years ago. 15 years ago. And it was basically, and at that time, I started doing business plans. And I will just go to churches and meet their pastors and say, hey, I want to offer a free training for your members on how to start your own business. And we'll do that. And then we'll teach them how to, we do teach entrepreneurship and how to come up with your business idea and all of that. And then finally, we make an offer that we can help you develop your business plan. And at that time, there was a lot of funding available. Help you get grants to start your business. And in those workshops, there will be people who already have businesses and are looking for business plans, and they hired me. All right. So that's how it began. And you can still do it now, even in 2025, based on your idea. You don't have to do it physically. You could do a LinkedIn event. You could do a webinar outside of LinkedIn. There are different ways that you could do about it. You could do it on Facebook, whatever platform you're more comfortable with. There are steps that you can use to run these events, and then afterwards you sign on clients at the end. Key thing to consider is, as you begin this journey of consulting, maybe you're already on the journey and you're progressing. You want to always be strengthening your skills and knowledge base. You cannot afford to stop learning. You cannot afford to stop developing yourself, because that is key to anything else. If you're going to be a great consultant, if you're going to be a world class consultant, you cannot stop learning. All right? You cannot stop learning. And you want to think about your business in the long term, not just short, quick wins, but that's good. You want to make money now, but think about it for the long term. Where are you 20 years from now, 15 years from now? How do you want to be seen? How do you want to be regarded? If you're coming to the consulting business, chances are you're leaving corporate because maybe you're tired with corporate, you want some freedom, you want some flexibility. That's great. But remember that freedom and flexibility depends on your ability to create income. And your ability to create income depends on your ability to serve your customers. So if you're committed to serving your customers, if you're committed to customer service excellence, to solving your clients' problems, to helping them to bring in solutions, you will succeed as a consultant. Until next time, my name is Dan, and I will see you. Peace.